The twin suns burned down without mercy on the endless orange sand. Marcus Chun had been walking for 3 days now. His water container was empty. His lips were cracked and bleeding. Every step felt like fire was eating his legs from the inside. The crashed escape pod was somewhere far behind him, just a dot lost in the desert of this alien world. He had not planned to land here. His ship had been hit by asteroid fragments near the outer rim of the Korvax system. The emergency protocols had sent him down to the nearest planet. That planet turned out to be Sathara Prime, a desert world that the galactic maps had marked as uninhabited. But the maps were wrong. Marcus fell to his knees as his vision became blurry. The heat was too much. His human body was not made for this kind of punishment. He had survived 36 hours in the vacuum of space once. He had walked through ice storms on frozen moons. But this desert was breaking him in ways nothing else ever had. That was when he saw them coming. At first, he thought they were just shadows moving in the heat waves. Then the shadows became shapes. The shapes became figures. Tall, thin beings with skin the color of dried sand walked toward him from all directions. There were at least 20 of them. They carried long spears made of some kind of dark bone. Their eyes were completely black, like pools of oil reflecting the burning suns. Marcus tried to stand, but his legs refused to work. He raised his hands slowly to show he meant no harm. His translator device was still working, attached to his ear. He hoped these beings spoke a language it could understand. The aliens surrounded him in a perfect circle. None of them spoke. They just watched him with those deep black eyes. Marcus could feel his heart beating fast in his chest. He had met many alien species during his years as a cargo pilot. Some had been friendly. Some had tried to kill him. He could not tell which category these beings would fall into. One of the aliens stepped forward. This one was taller than the others. Strange symbols had been carved into the skin of its chest and arms. Some kind of leader, Marcus guessed. The alien looked down at him with an expression that might have been curiosity or might have been disgust. Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but only a rough sound came out. His throat was too dry for words. He pointed to his mouth, then made a drinking gesture with his hand, the universal signal for water. He hoped these beings would understand. The tall alien tilted its head. It spoke in a series of clicking sounds mixed with low whistles. The translator device in Marcus ear-buzzed for a moment, then produced words he could understand. "You are the one who fell from the sky," the alien said. "We saw your fire. We watched you walk. We waited to see how long you would last." Marcus nodded weakly. Speaking was still too difficult. "You are dying," the alien continued. "Your kind is not made for the sand. Why do you come to our world?" Marcus forced his throat to work. The words came out broken and rough. "Accident. Ship damaged. Please, water. I am begging you." The aliens around him began to click and whistle among themselves. Marcus caught some of the words through his translator. They were talking about him, about his strange pale skin, about the way he sweated, about how weak he looked lying there in the sand. The tall alien raised one long hand, and the others went silent. It looked down at Marcus again. "We do not waste water on strangers. Water is life on Sathara. To give water to an outsider is to take life from our tribe. This is our law." Marcus felt his heart sink. He was going to die here, surrounded by beings who would not help him. It seemed almost funny in a dark way. He had traveled across galaxies. He had seen wonders that most humans would never imagine. And now he would die of thirst on a forgotten desert world. But then something strange happened inside him. Something that was purely human. Instead of giving up, he felt a spark of determination light up in his chest. He was not going to beg anymore. He was not going to die on his knees. With every bit of strength he had left, Marcus pushed himself up to his feet. His legs shook badly, but he stayed standing. He looked the tall alien directly in its black eyes. The other aliens took a step back, surprised by his sudden movement. I understand your law, Marcus said. His voice was stronger now, fueled by something deeper than water. But I have something to offer in return. The tall alien tilted its head again. What could a dying creature offer us? Marcus reached slowly into the pocket of his flight suit. The aliens raised their spears, ready to attack. But Marcus did not pull out a weapon. Instead, he pulled out a small metal device. It was a water reclaimer, standard equipment in every human survival kit. It could pull moisture from the air, even in the driest conditions. It could turn urine back into clean water. It was not much, but it was technology these desert people clearly did not have. This machine makes water, Marcus said. He activated the device. A small blue light blinked on its surface. Within seconds, a thin stream of water began to drip from its bottom, collected from the tiny amount of humidity in the desert air. I can show your people how to build more of them. I can teach you to make water from nothing. The alien stared at the device with wide black eyes. The whispers started again, but this time they sounded different. Excited. Amazed. The tall alien reached out and touched the water dripping from the device. It brought its finger to its mouth and tasted it. Its expression changed completely. For the first time, Marcus saw something like respect in those dark eyes. You offer us the gift of water, the alien said slowly. This is not a small thing. I am not asking for a small thing, Marcus replied. I am asking for my life. There was a long moment of silence. The twin suns continued to beat down on them all. The sand stretched out forever in every direction. Finally, the tall alien nodded its head. You will come with us to our village. You will teach us about this water machine. And in return, we will give you water, shelter, and protection until you can leave our world. Marcus felt his legs almost give out from relief. He had done it. He had survived. Not by fighting, not by running, but by offering something of value. This was the human way. This was what had made his species spread across the stars. The journey to the village took several hours. The aliens gave Marcus small sips of water along the way, just enough to keep him moving. The village itself was built inside a massive canyon, hidden from the burning suns by walls of red and orange rock. Thousands of the sand-colored aliens lived there, in structures carved directly into the stone walls. Marcus spent 3 weeks in that village. He taught them everything he knew about water reclamation technology. He drew diagrams in the sand. He explained the science in simple terms that his translator could convert into their clicking language. The aliens learned quickly. They were intelligent beings who had survived for generations in one of the harshest environments Marcus had ever seen. In return, they taught him about their culture. He learned that they called themselves the Cathari. They had legends about travelers from the stars, beings made of water who would one day come to share their secrets. Marcus was not made of water, but he had brought them something just as precious. The elder who had first confronted Marcus, whose name was Veth, became something like a friend to him. They spent many nights talking under the strange green moons of Sathar Prime. Veth was curious about humanity, about Earth, about the millions of other worlds in the galaxy. Your kind is strange, Veth said one night. You are weak in body. You cannot survive our heat. You cannot run as fast as a sandcat or fight as well as a rock beast. Yet you have conquered the stars. How is this possible? Marcus thought about the question for a long moment. He looked up at the moons and remembered all the struggles of human history. The wars, the plagues, the disasters. And yet humanity had always survived. Always pushed forward. Always refused to give up. We do not accept death easily, Marcus finally said. When something tries to kill us, we find a way to survive. When we face a problem, we build a solution. When we meet strangers, we trade instead of fight, whenever we can. This is what makes us strong. Not our bodies, but our minds and our spirits. Veth was silent for a while, processing this answer. Then the alien made a sound that Marcus had learned was the Cathari equivalent of a laugh. "Your people sound exhausting," Beth said, "but also admirable. I think the galaxy is lucky to have you in it." A rescue ship finally came for Marcus on the 22nd day. His distress signal had been picked up by a mining vessel passing through the system. When the ship landed outside the canyon, the entire Cathari tribe came out to watch. They had never seen a human vessel up close before. Marcus said goodbye to Veth and the other elders. He gave them the last of his survival equipment, including 3 more water reclaimers from the rescue ship supplies. The captain was not happy about this, but Marcus insisted. These people had saved his life. It was the least he could do. As the rescue ship lifted off into the orange sky, Marcus looked down at the canyon one last time. He could see the Cathari watching him go, their dark eyes turned up toward the heavens. He knew that this was just the beginning for them. With water reclamation technology, their civilization would grow and thrive. Maybe one day they would build their own ships. Maybe one day they would travel the stars themselves. And when they did, they would remember the human who had come to them dying of thirst and left them with the gift of water. They would tell stories about the strange pale creature who refused to die. They would remember that humanity was not just a species of conquerors and explorers, but also a species of teachers and traders and friends. This was the true power of humanity. Marcus thought as the ship broke through the atmosphere and into the cold darkness of space. Not weapons or technology or numbers, but the ability to connect with others, to share what they had, to turn enemies into allies and strangers into family. The universe was vast and full of dangers, but as long as humans carried this gift with them, they would never truly be alone among the stars. And that was something worth surviving for.